Camera's rolling.
He's in action. I want one of them clapper things. I'm going to talk to you around the lap record lap, but I'm going to choose probably 3 places that I think are the most important or the most scary, or however you want to describe it. So from the record lap, I've got it here on the phone. We're setting off down the start and finish. Obviously, it's a flying lap going on to the last lap of the senior. You go across the top of St Ninians. I'm going to talk about Bray Hill. We're already doing about 190 mile an hour all the way down this hill, and the phone really doesn't give it justice because it's super fast. It's really close quarters, and I'm not entirely sure of the gradient of of how steep Bray Hill is, but it's super steep. You've got to be, as a rider, you've got to be really careful about where you are on the track. You've got to be pinpoint accurate. You need to stay to the left-hand side of the track on the run down the hill, but not too close to the left, because wherever there is a junction, wherever there's a road end, basically the track actually dips a little bit, so you need to sit away from them initially and then drop in right at the last minute to get the line right through the bottom of the hill. And it's actually the bottom of the dip that's probably the scariest, or one of the most important, is you go through the bottom and then jump up over Aggo's Leap. It's a mega place to go and watch at. It's probably one of the most iconic places on the Isle of Man TT. It's the first thing you hit when you set off down Glen Crutchfield Road. And yeah, that's going to be my first pick of the 3 for the scariest / most important part of the Isle of Man TT. The next bit I'm going to choose is Ballagary, but as it's more commonly known with all of us riders, it's called Ballascary. That's my bike, you can hear it. Where is it? Oh, there it is. It's one of the most important sections or corners of the course because it's so fast. So on this run up here, about 1:26 into the lap, go through the right kink, big wheelie on the exit there, and then the thing about Ballascary is it's blind, so you can't see. You back one gear, got off the brake and drive on the throttle before you can actually see the corner. And it's about 160 miles an hour ish through that corner, and you've got this long run afterwards all the way down into Crosby. So it's super important to get a really fast exit speed, because the faster you exit, the faster you are down that next straight, and you're gaining time in a straight line, which is the easiest and safest point to gain time. It's probably most famous because Guy Martin crashed there back in, I must have been 2010ish, somewhere around there, maybe a little bit before. He had a massive big fireball. Fortunately, obviously he was all right. I know he ended up in hospital, but he was actually okay. Super lucky to crash there and get away with it. But yeah, it's really fantastic corner. You can sit on the wall on the run into it. You can sit on a lot of the houses, and people let you stay in the front of the houses on the exit. Mega fast place, awesome to watch at. Right, so for my third most scariest corner, the Isle of Man TT, bear in mind there's about 260 corners and nearly all of them are scary. I'm going to go for the bottom of Barrow. Now on this lap in particular, it was a bit different because on the first lap of the race, James Hillier had actually hit the bottom. So basically you run down a hill, then there's a jump where you land in the bottom of the dip and drive out of it. And on the first lap, James Hillier hit the bike on the floor that hard, he broke the sump and actually dumped a load of oil on the track. So after that, they managed to put some cement dust down, which soaks up all the oil, so then you can actually keep riding. You can actually ride over it. Most of us try and avoid that, but you can actually ride over it. But for the rest of the race, we had to be slightly wider than what we'd normally be through there. You'd normally be a little bit tighter through the bottom. So on this lap in particular, you'll notice I'm slightly wide and you'll see the white line as we're running through it. So we're going up through the top first. So it's just over 5 minutes and 20 seconds as we come up over the top through the left. Bit of a wiggle. We see the yellow and red flag on the right hand side, and then there's one down on the bottom hand side. So it's basically red and yellow stripes. That basically means a slippy surface or lack of adhesion. So that could be anything. It could be a knee slider on the floor, it could be water, it could be oil. So it's basically a flag just to let you know that there's something on the surface that you're coming up to. Obviously by this lap, we're on lap 6. We already knew it was there because we'd been through the first lap and we'd done another 5 since then. So yeah, on this lap, we already know it's there. So I've already cut all the white cement dust you can see, and I'm just to the right of it. deliberately just to try and stay away and off it as we run up towards the 13th. But through the bottom of Bargara, the bike goes through absolute phenomenal amount of force through the bottom. The whole bike completely cases out. You use all of the front suspension, all of the rear suspension. You actually stand up out of the seat and allow the bike to hit the floor, and then use your legs as suspension as you go through the bottom. I would say it's around 150, 160 mile an hour. It's fifth gear on the big bike. It's mega fast. And on the approach to it, the reason it's one of the scariest is you know what's about to happen, so you get that anticipation of knowing what's about to happen. But also, the bike normally kind of wiggles around a lot and you can't see it. It's another blind corner. So as you go through the bottom, there's a big wall on the left, which means that you can't see through the corner. So you're going into it blind at about 160 mile an hour. And the bike always does something slightly different. So you have that little bit of apprehension as you're arriving there. So that's my 3 top picks of scariest / dangerous corners at the Isle of Man TT. Still good fun though, isn't it?